Hello, this is Bonnie Gabowitz, host of Ward Talk. It is November 2020, and we have the wonderful pleasure of talking about Ann Arbor, its problems, its solutions with our council member this month, Kathy Griswold from Ward 2. So hi, Kathy, welcome. It's been probably a year since I talked to you last. And of course, everything changes and there's always something new and something that continues to be a topic, a hot topic. But you're from Ward 2. So let's start with Ward 2. What's happening with your ward?
Okay, and Ward 2 is basically the piece of the pie from downtown out Washtenaw and then swinging up to Nixon Road. So it's the northeast side of Ann Arbor. I guess these are extremely difficult times in general, but at the same time, I believe that Ann Arborites have so many things to be thankful for, and I'm really optimistic. We have lost a very valuable, experienced Councilmember Jane Lum, and we're going to miss her expertise. At the same time, we have a new city administrator who I believe is very focused on strategic planning and accountability. And so those are characteristics that I really value. And I'll be joined by Councilmember Lynn Song, who will be sworn in this evening. In terms of specific activities, there aren't too many things that are specific to Ward 2. I know that the county did do some work on one of the tributaries into the Huron River, and that project was finished. That's on Glacier Way. So a number of people were asking, are we building a new park? Exactly what's happening? And it was water to improve the Huron River water quality. But it will serve, I think, as a little park area as well as people walk through it.
That's great. And let's talk about the fact that we have, in terms of talking about the whole city, in our election, this is a rather unusual election because we have 5 new council members. As a matter of fact, from what I read when I looked online, every ward has a new council member. Every ward is represented by a previous council member and a new council member, which really creates a whole different chemistry now. And we've got experienced people, and now we have new people coming in with probably a lot of ideas and a lot of new energy. So what do you have to say about the election and how you perceive this new makeup of the council?
Well, the council is very new. We have 5 new council members. We have 4 council members with only 2 years experience. And Ann Arbor is a very diverse community, but one of my concerns is I don't see a lot of diversity on council. We have differences of opinion regarding maybe some of the methodology to get to greater density. I don't think anyone is opposed to growing the city. It's just the way that it might be done. And I think that I'm on the administration committee, and I've always been interested in good governance. And I think that it's going to be very, very important to have a stronger framework and rules for council conduct and for communicating between council and staff. And one of the sort of mantras I have is that council must speak with one voice when we're communicating with staff, and that should be through resolutions. And that's really up to the mayor to sort of, as our leader, to keep discipline within council. So that I think is going to be a challenge, but as a member of the administration committee, I will continue to work on that. There are a couple of resolutions that Councilmember Ann Bannister was working on, and I have agreed to continue to work on those. One is to be more transparent with our community. We have privileged information that was issued by our city attorney, and in a couple of areas, I believe that that can be modified slightly so that it can be shared with the public. It hasn't been before. And the two areas are the interpretation of the Open Meetings Act and FOIA, and now especially how we perform with the constraints of the pandemic and using Zoom. And the second one is, I'm forgetting what it is for a minute. I may have to come back to that.
Okay,
that was
that's
quite
fine.
a bit on the first one. Oh, I know, it was, no wonder I forgot it. It was council ethics and sort of rules of behavior. And that's something that I believe we definitely need to formalize. Most large organizations have very specific rules. I've talked before about how I think that there should be rules of conduct, especially dealing with social media, not only for our elected officials, but also for members of boards and commissions. And
Yeah, well, now with all this widespread technology, it is an open field where in some ways we've stumbled upon some problems or some unusual situations where it has to be worked out. So I can see that. While we're talking about this, I was interested in, do you see any advantages or benefits from this changeover to having the electronic meetings in terms of the availability of people to citizens to be able to get the information or express themselves? Is there any actual benefit or improvement you see over the in-person meetings?
Absolutely. It's always good to have informal, personal contact. And I do miss that. But in terms of the actual meetings and committee meetings, we save time in terms of transportation, driving to and from. I know on Wednesday nights, I used to have 3 committee meetings almost back to back. And one was downtown, one was at the airport, one was at the University of Michigan. And so that was a real problem. Also, the way the council chamber is arranged, it was difficult to see all of the council members. And now we're all on the
Right.
little computer screen. And so sometimes I feel like I'm talking specifically to the mayor or to a council member in a way that I wasn't able to when we were in person. And I think it also allows for more convenient public input. People don't have to come down to city council and sit there, until 11, 12 o'clock or even later to be able to say something at the end of the meeting or sometimes during one of our public hearings. Now they can simply call in. And the technology is not perfect, but again, it's easier to stay home and call in. And I also host the caucus, which is held on Sunday night before the Monday council meetings. And so again, people can, it's very informal. And we go over the agenda for the following council meeting the next night. And I found that we can get through the agenda usually in about an hour, hour and a half. And we used to go out and socialize afterwards, and we're not able to do that now. We just end up usually calling each other. But it's very convenient for the public to call in and participate in an informal way. And I think that builds relationships and builds a positive culture, which we desperately need within city government.
Right. Great. And our next topic, of course, is widespread. It's on everybody's mind, the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And every day there are changes, there are new reports, there are new numbers. So as we speak today, how is the city adapting? And I'm interested also in what the city has done. It varied in terms of, what can people do, what can't people do, and what points to you when changes have to be made? What are you going by? What information?
Well, we work closely with not only the University of Michigan, but the county, because the county has the public health department. And of course, we take direction from our governor. She issued new direction over the weekend, and I guess it was yesterday. I'd say that I am just amazed at how well the city staff are doing. And they've adapted to working at home. It's sometimes difficult to reach someone on the phone immediately. Email always works better, especially now that people are working off site. But and the way the city clerk's office handled the election process, I mean, I'm just blown away with how well that was handled, given all of the constraints that we have.
So is there any, pretty much the city is running, the government is running, nothing is closed down in terms of the wheels working. Everything is functioning, but in a different way.
Other than our parks and our indoor swimming pool. Right. I mean, the parks are open, but we don't have programs running in the parks. And we did have to close the Cascades early because of people just not social distancing while they were in their rafts floating down the river. So that's my unofficial reason anyway.
And in terms of how you view the public following the rules, do you see that there's more of a willingness to be masked and be safe distance? Do you see that there's a change in more willingness to follow the safety rules?
I do. I think, people refer to Ann Arbor as being this bubble within the state of Michigan in negative ways. But I think that there's also this very positive bubble where we are more concerned with the health of our citizens, and we are stepping up and helping. And I see that every day on Nextdoor. Even if someone needs something, they put, I need some groceries or I need whatever. And usually within an hour, 3 or 4 people say, how can I get the goods to you? So I'm extremely proud of Ann Arbor as a community, and we take it for granted. And this is just not the way it is in many, many communities.
On that positive note, we're going to take a little break right now. Okay. And we have a few more things to discuss. So we'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And we'll be talking to Ward 2 Councilmember Kathy Griswold when we come back.
We know what it's like to go to war, to bravely step forward and sacrifice for what you believe is right. We see those who are redefining what it means to serve, to be a patriot, a hero, and to save lives. From our nation's injured veterans to the faces of courage across America today, we see you, we support you, we salute you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Many downtown Ann Arbor merchants and restaurants have enjoyed some relief from the COVID-19 business impacts, due in part to the city's decision to close several streets to vehicle traffic Fridays through Sundays. City officials are reminding patrons that the closures will be cut short from the original August 23rd end date unless masks are worn and a distance of at least 6 feet is maintained. The city's expectations are consistent with other protocols being set in the community. The University of Michigan has announced that all faculty, staff, students, and visitors are being required to wear a face covering everywhere on campus. indoors and outdoors, and inside U of M buses. The Ann Arbor Public Schools also share the city's emphasis and the importance of wearing a mask. Keep everyone safe and your favorite places open and operating. Wear a mask, save a life.
Hello, this is Bonnie Gabowitz. I'm with Ward Talk, and we're talking with Kathy Griswold from Ward 2. I want you to know that we want to hear from you. If you have any comments or questions, you can email us at ctn@a2gov.org. Attention Ward Talk. We're also on Twitter at twitter.com/CTN in Arbor. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, Kathy, let's continue our talk with this November 2020 session. We have something new happening in the Department of Transportation. So what's the news with that?
We are in the final stages of implementing a new transportation plan, and it is based on Vision Zero. And I've been talking about Vision Zero for a few years and being ridiculed at times. But Vision Zero is really a data-driven process that it started in Europe, and it has made a significant improvement in pedestrian and roadway safety in general. And the goal is to reduce serious crashes and fatalities to zero at some future time.
And if I recall, Kathy, when you first came on the board, that pedestrian safety was a big topic for you. You've been involved for a long time with trying to improve pedestrian and driver safety, if I recall.
That's correct. This is my 25th anniversary in that area. And I'd like to thank the members of A2 Safe Transport. A number of us organized 4 years ago and put together a plan for improving safety around the school walk zones. The city adopted that plan, and that has been completed. So we've made many improvements in our crosswalks in terms of illumination and the RRFBs, the flashing lights. We still have, I don't know, more than a dozen crosswalks without illumination, and that concerns me, but we do have a plan for addressing that. And one of the values of this new transportation program is that we're going to move from an ideology-based decision-making where we sometimes say, well, this is a good idea, and so let's just do it. And if it doesn't work real well, it's because people aren't paying attention and somebody gets blamed for it. And that's not the way to really achieve safety. And with Vision Zero, you have the 6 E's. I don't want to bore everyone, but so you not only have engineering, but then you have education and encouragement. And most importantly for me, you have evaluation. So you look at, is it working or not? And if it isn't, then you make adjustments to it. And that allows for a dialogue, an ongoing dialogue.
I just want to interpret this. So it sounds like you're looking to have behavior, you have practical ways of making people more aware and how to change their behavior, and then a way of evaluating the improvements.
Yes, and Vision Zero assumes that people are going to make mistakes. There will be human error. So you have to design the roadway to minimize the chance of a serious injury or fatality as a result of human error. But it also includes this evaluation process, and it's very data driven. With healthy streets, we implemented some of the healthy streets, and then it was, I believe they were ideology driven. Healthy streets are good because they have a good name, healthy streets. And when negative comments came in, we didn't say, oh, is this an opportunity to make healthy streets better?
Mhm.
We had community members who simply said, we want healthy streets the way they are. Don't talk about it. Let's just move on. We were promised, 90 days, and that's what we want. And so I really think that this new transportation program is going to sort of change the culture and allow us to have more fruitful discussions.
And who is in charge of this transportation department?
The transportation plan is under Eli Cooper, who has been with the city for more than 10 years. So he's the manager of the plan right now. And it will be going before the Transportation Commission on Wednesday, and then coming back to council for final approval.
Okay, so we can follow the progress on this online on the website. We can see at each meeting what has been decided on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's on the city website with the 27 strategies for achieving the Vision Zero goal.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, another topic that comes up is the plume cleanup. I understand since last month, the council has decided not to accept the offer of how the plume was going to be cleaned up. So what are our options at this point?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very, very optimistic about this because we passed a resolution to send a letter to the governor asking her to petition the EPA. We did have a consent judgment. This has been in the courts for many, many years. What we negotiated was not acceptable. The final consent judgment number 4 included dumping partially treated water into the First Sister Lake, which was completely unacceptable. And since I've been on council, I've felt that Danaher or the Gelman group, they have never really taken the governmental entity seriously. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. And I really think that we need the strength of the federal government and the EPA, along with the state. They have a new agency, Eagle. And now we have Democrats in Lansing, and we'll have Democratic leadership in Washington. And I believe that we're going to, I'm not going to get into all the details, but I think we'll make significant progress in the next 2 years. And I want to thank the community members who have been working on this for more than a decade. Roger Rayo, Dan Bicknell, the CARD organization. So it's really been a community-driven process.
Great. And in terms of the DDA, from what I read, and I really didn't get that many details, the city was now leaning towards not having the DDA active. Can you give us a little background as to what happened?
Yes,
because they collected a lot of money, they distributed a lot of money, they made a lot of decisions. So what happened and why did the council want to move in another direction?
Oh, okay. Well, the council really didn't, and we didn't vote to dissolve the DDA. We didn't even get to that resolution. When I first was serving on council, one of my concerns was it seems like the DDA has more money to spend on pedestrian safety than the neighborhoods. did. And also the DDA can spend money on parking in the downtown area, but we desperately need park and ride lots, and we cannot use DDA money for the park and ride lots, and the DDA gets all the parking revenue. So I just asked the question, well, what would happen if we dissolved the DDA? And I was told by the city attorney that in order to do that research, we would have to have a resolution. And so it really got completely out of control. There was never an intent to totally dissolve the DDA. The DDA does some amazing things, and they've been supportive during the pandemic. But I think that the members of the DDA really should be thanking me, because as a result of bringing up this controversy, it brought out all kinds of people, community members and their partners, to reinforce what a wonderful organization they are.
So the DDA is still alive and well, and
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, no wonder I was confused.
So I would like some of their parking money for park and ride lots, but that's, that we may be able to work out in another way.
Right. Now, we have just a few minutes left, and we're getting into the winter season now. And I know there was a lot of concern about, because of the pandemic and trying to help the homeless population, there were some new ideas as to how to take care of that. And so what were some solutions that the city's looking at?
Councilmember Elizabeth Nelson has really taken the lead on this and tried to improve communications with the county, just to be more proactive, and with the University of Michigan. And one of the ideas was to, if the University of Michigan has excess capacity, residential capacity in dorms or out in their apartments in Northwood, would it be possible to use some of those for the homeless during these winter months? And I believe that's an ongoing discussion. And unfortunately, with the University of Michigan, things change so rapidly based on the COVID numbers within the student body.
Right, right. And we just have a minute left. So what would you like to say? Anything else?
Well, I'd like to thank Councilmember Jack Eaton and Councilmember Ann Bannister, who became very good friends, and I'm going to miss them serving on council. But at the same time, I think that we're moving ahead in a way that we're going to become more data-driven, less ideology-driven. And I'm just very, very excited about the new transportation plan. I'm very excited about the strategic plan that the city administrator is going to roll out. And also, we're going to have an independent group of community members who have volunteered to assist the city with metrics and performance measurements in the future. I know the city's very busy just trying to stay afloat right now with the pandemic and everything, but I'm very appreciative of all of the community members who want to get in, become engaged and basically assist the city to be better and to better serve the citizens.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, and I know you have a lot to do in the next few months, so thank you for your service, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
And we want to hear from you. Please, first of all, look on the website. There's lots of information to get. You can email us at ctn@a2gov.org, attention, Ward Talk. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/CTN in Arbor. I'm Bonnie Gabowitz, your host, and be well. I'll see you next month.